Hello. All right. Welcome. I don't know where I'm looking. This is my very first live in a group like this. And I am going to go over a few of the things that we can expect while we're in the group, what I hope to achieve with the group, and kind of get your questions and see what you hope to achieve. And yeah, so if you are watching this on a replay, just hashtag replay it, hashtag replay, so I know when you got here. And if you are showing up in the group, just say hi. And because I don't know what all the little controls and stuff are, so we'll see how this works. I really don't know. What's this? Invite. I'm gonna invite everybody real quick. I guess that's how we do it, right? Okay, cool. All right, so I am, well, you all know me, but anyways, I am Hillary, and I am a minister, reverend priestess. I have had training in as a doula in birth and bereavement, as well as postpartum depression and anxiety is what I specialized in. And I've taken courses on psychological first aid. I've done neurolinguistics, neuroscience for neonatal and infants, studying like synaptic function and how birth trauma, relates to our childhood trauma. I've done studies with epigenetics, morphogenetic fields, worked in metaphysical, infant microbiome, gentle parenting, and I have taught myself self-actualization using Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've learned somatic techniques, polyvagal nerve theory, the polyvagal theory. I've studied that. Mindfulness. I've taken programs and courses on coaching. And I've worked as a trauma-informed peer counselor. And I'm coming up, I'm going to start working or trying to get into a training for a litigation advocacy for high conflict divorce cases. And what I want to do with all of that is to create a program that facilitates trauma-informed emotional resiliency and self-awareness. That way, when we are feeling like everything is out of our control, we can take a step back and actually gain control, step into our authentic self, and hold the power and the authority over ourselves. And this can be used in all areas of our life, not just with healing from PTSD or navigating abusive relationships or things like that. We can use this in everything from relationships in the workplace environment, our relationship with ourselves, our relationship as parents, healing our relationship with our own parents. There's so many things that we can use emotional resiliency, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness for, and I am hoping to bring that to the table. I also want to change the way the system operates so that victims have a voice when they are standing up for themselves and they see justice, especially in domestic violence cases. I think that my own personal experience witnessing the way the system handles these cases, it needs to change. So when I was a child, I went through a lot of traumatic experiences, but I didn't think they affected me. I thought when I was a teenager, I knew what was going on. Like I had I thought that I knew who I was and what I was doing. It wasn't until I became a mother myself and all these emotions came flooding in, and I started looking at things differently. I started having a different perspective, that I became aware that something had happened to me and that it was not okay. And when you get to that point, it can be very ground shaking. It can be confusing, and puts us in a space where we are kind of on a precipice of not being okay at all, but also kind of being okay because we finally realized that there was something going on and we weren't just, experiencing it for reasons like, I don't know, at some point I thought maybe I deserved it, or maybe this was my, lot in life or something like that. So there is a silver lining to coming to awareness that things had happened, but then there's also the other side of it where it's very hard and it's very sad and it's very upsetting. And witnessing, like, going through my own experience in a very terrible, I call it a situationship, and seeing the effects that it had on myself and my children, I know that it's just, there is a different way to heal from trauma, and I have been gathering up all the tools and resources that I can to work on myself, help my children, and help other people. I'm here to serve. So we have, let's see, I don't have any comments. So we have an opportunity to come together as a group and support each other if we choose to. I don't know, I'll have to double check the group settings and see if I need to change the settings for posts and stuff like that. There are no rules at this moment, other than be kind to one another. Let's not just info dump or put too much on each other, because this is a very small group at this moment, and a lot of our personal and hard topics could be taken on by one another, and we just want to learn how to sort of separate, create a detachment when we're having empathetic relationships with others. Want to be able to have a sort of detachment so that we're not taking it all in, especially as we're learning, if we're people pleasers, we're learning how to put boundaries in place and to communicate with one another. Nonviolent communication is a great, step. So I think right now, for the best way to get the most out of the group is to interact with the posts. So you're able to jump in and get some feedback or engage with one another and create a relationship within the group. And another way is files and guides will be updated. Right now, the guides, I put up a mindfulness course, and in that is about 15 modules with videos in there. The guy that's in the videos, he was a mindfulness coach with it's with mindfulness exercises. It's this whole group. And I got in the training, I took the training course, and then I got a bunch of free stuff like meditations and videos and everything that I want to share with you, worksheets and stuff like that, so that I can turn around and facilitate like group learning classes and stuff like that. It's intended for workplaces like say Walmart, if they wanted to support their employees, they would have like a group viewing of these videos and have these workshops and stuff like that. That's what it's intended for. So I'm using them for us, and hopefully I've been trying to find different platforms and things like that in order to hold those videos so that everybody could watch and get something from it. So some of the steps that we can take on our healing journey is, I don't know where you're at in your journey, and if you need any guidance on where to start, it's a good way for us to where I can help you is by you let me know, like, hey, I'm on, this track. I just gained awareness that these things happened to me, and it's really hard for me, and I don't know what to do with it right now. Or if you're in a space where you're like, okay, I know things happen to me. Now I'm working on the body sensations. I'm working on the mind loops and things like that. You just let me know. And I have a ton of guides and resources on where to go from there. And eventually I will be hosting workshops and webinars and courses and things like that you can hop into as well. And I do offer coaching sessions. I do consultation, like coaching clarity call, discovery call, and then I do actual sessions. I can also use astrology, human design, tarot reading, all of that to encompass healing sessions, which I do the healing sessions as well while we're working if you want them. Otherwise, we just do life coaching where you tell me what is going on and we work through it together, like we're talking one-on-one with each other. And as things come up, I can pull what it is and kind of point it out and see if that's a direction that we need to focus on and get your input. And everything that I do is to guide you back to yourself so that you feel and know who you are. When I first began my healing journey, it was like, I was asking questions all the time, like, what should I do? What should I do? And I really feel that having autonomy and having informed consent is the way to go when it comes to healing, because a lot of us have lost that power in ourselves and we don't know how to sort of find the pieces or trust ourselves enough to go forward. So that's what I want to support in that way, where we're like, we can ask questions, but we aren't waiting for the answer. We're looking for the connection with each other instead of looking for, like, I have more information than you. I have information, but that doesn't mean that you don't either. And we can all work together and make it so that we're growing and learning. So one of the ways that has really supported me in my healing journey, and this might be woo-woo, but this really helped me, is to stop and ask myself what it is that I need, what it is that I'm feeling, if these feelings even belong to me. And I had a mentor that used this process as well from a scientific standpoint in psychology, and she made it like, we carry these beliefs from childhood and we have to kind of go back to the root of things, because everything that we know is at the surface, and then we go and we dig through until we get to the root of it. So for a long time I have this feeling that if a friend of mine was busy then that meant that they didn't like me anymore, and that they had a new friend, and that friend was better than me, and I didn't matter anymore, something, and I felt that way for a very long time. And what I learned as each step went on, and as I became more aware of who I am and my, what I feel and what I think, I learned that that was something from an old story from a long time ago. We have immature relationships when we're children because we're children, and something that might seem insignificant to an adult, to us, is huge. And that would like solidify the story, and then I have another experience, and then things kept going on and on. So when I was doing that deep digging, that internal work, and looking back on all the stories, it came to the surface, and I was able to resolve it from there and know that I am okay. So a lot of the deep dive work, maybe if you're in therapy, you're going to do a lot of deep dives and things like that. And I just want to bridge the gap for it, and, just be supportive is my goal, to support and to help as best as I can with the knowledge that I've got. And one of the things that I found really helpful is because I've started over a bunch of times. So what I do is I get my clean slate. That's what I call it, my clean slate. And I decide what I want for myself. How do I feel in this future self? What does my life look like in this self, in this being that I am, and I go backwards. First, I know how I am, like how I feel, how I think, what I do to take care of myself, and I act as if. And then I go back and I look at all the steps that I need and that I take to get to that being. And for me, it was like, go down to the basics of the basics and understand my emotions. So I started there, started at my emotions. And then I unraveled bits and pieces of my trauma. And then I started creating systems that helped me function efficiently, where I wasn't worrying so much about all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And then creating a lifestyle that supports and sustains me, my health, my mental wellness, and working on the security, the basic securities that I need, and working on enlightenment. So always reading or learning or taking a course or talking to other people. And each one of those levels of, the hierarchy of needs has provided this awareness of myself and what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with, learning the dualities of life and learning how to forgive myself and others has been really beneficial. So working on a guide to take, and everybody's journey is going to be different. My journey is not going to be the same. We're not linear in any way, or it's all going to be different, but we can kind of flow and pick up from each other and say like, oh yeah, I tried this, say somatic breathing techniques. Oh, I tried somatic breathing techniques. It didn't work for me. And that there could be a reason why. Maybe your, parasympathetic nervous system is dysregulated, and you go back and you start learning how to regulate that, and then all of a sudden the somatic breathing techniques do work. Or maybe you're spiritual and you feel there is a tie or a connection that you're holding on to, and you go and you release that, and all of a sudden you're open and receptive to other modalities of healing. And some people do really well with talk therapy, some people don't. And it could be that having the talk therapy is dysregulating the system and nothing is getting resolved, because it's not about releasing the thoughts. It's about integration, or you need a piece of the puzzle or something. So everybody's healing journey is different. There is sort of a basic guide, but it's not going to be the same for everyone. Which brings me to my argument of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You don't need to go from the bottom of the pyramid up. You can pick and choose what works for you when it works for you. And we're all capable of being at a different level, multiple levels at any point in time. It's more of having that for yourself and knowing that you are worthy of having that and that you deserve to have that. That's the basic foundation, is knowing that you are worthy. And that's where we get to, as we work through the different parts of the pyramid, that's where we get to, is we know, we accept ourselves. So that was pretty much the brief note. I did not grab my tarot cards today. Oh, and then back to asking our bodies what we need. So there is what's called truth testing or muscle testing, and it's to help bring back that knowing of who you are and trusting yourself. Or do you believe in a higher power or your higher self or the universe? But you have that nagging little voice that kind of guides you into these directions, like, oh, don't go there. Yes, do this. This would be great for you. Trusting our intuition and trusting ourselves is really crucial to healing trauma, like I was saying before. So we want to ask ourselves little questions to start getting this truth testing to start like actually being able to use it for bigger questions. So like a little question in the morning would be, body, do I want to eat an apple or a banana? And then you'll feel your body pull, like as you ask the question, like apple, and if it pulls you forward, that means your body really wants an apple. Or if it kind of pulls you back, your body's like, no, I don't want an apple today. And you can use those, like, do I want to wear a red shirt today? Or should I wear this blue shirt? What is going to bring me into sync with my body, into that good feeling where opportunities present themselves? And that's what we're really going after when we ask those questions, is, body, would eating an apple today make me feel really good inside? Like, feel nourished, have that sense of feeling like, is this what it's going to give me, or is it going to give me something else? And we keep asking for the little things. And when we do come to a point where, say we're facing a major transition with a job, says, okay, body, is taking this job going to accelerate my future? Am I going to have that dream goal for myself, or is it going to hold me back, So you feel into that, you tap into that, and you're like, okay, all right. Cleaning up our diet is a really great way to help with the PTSD symptoms. It seems, with the microbiome studies that I've had, I learned that our gut is our second brain. And, when we're younger, we don't really think about it that way. We think, oh, this tastes good, this is what I want. So having a nice clean gut really helps. A good way to tell if your gut health is kind of poor is look at your tongue first thing in the morning, and if it's coated and fuzzy and feels kind of sticky, tacky, more than likely you have candida overgrowth. And there are different ways to handle that, but that can absolutely disrupt your mental and your physical well-being if you're candida, if you have candida overgrowth in your gut. And I'm not a doctor, I can't prescribe or anything like that, but I've seen it. I went from having extreme like bipolar symptoms, fibromyalgia symptoms, and overall just foggy brain, terrible mood swings, to not, after I did a candida diet for about 18 months and got my symptoms resolved. It definitely helped my mental clarity, which helps with being able to regulate your emotions. And we are not our trauma. We are not responsible for what someone else chose to do or for the things that happened to us. We are responsible for being able to move forward and live our lives the way we deserve to. And in that, it means, we kind of have to be in the driver's seat of how it plays out. And we have control over, how we live. We have control over our lifestyle. We have control over how we respond and react to situations. We have control over those things. We can do it. And I think taking charge of my own emotional and mental health has made me a better mother. I have always felt that gentle parenting was an intrinsic, come on, treat children with respect, right? That they deserve it regardless of whether they treat us with respect. They're just tiny little humans, right? So, but when you are in an activated state of being and you're triggered or you're depressed or you're anxious, all of those issues within ourselves or, challenges within ourselves will affect how we show up for the kids. And we can have good intentions and we can, thoroughly enjoy our children and love them and respect them and still work on ourselves and still heal from the things. This is also self-paced and self-study. Pop in when you can, pop out, whatever. But do give me feedback. Let me know what is working and what's not working. And because we're growing together. I haven't done anything like this before, and it's gonna go as it goes. It's a bit of a learning curve for me. But we will definitely get through it and keep moving forward. And also, if you want to have a natal chart reading, I am doing natal chart readings for $35, and you get a 30-minute video, personalized video, where I give you a basic understanding of what's in your natal chart, specifically around where childhood transitions into adulthood. I like to show you what you've experienced in your childhood and how that translates into who you are as an adult, or how you can translate it to who you are as an adult. I look at your career options, I look at your internal self view, and I also look at your relationship patterns. So we can give a little bit of a full scope reading, and I'm doing those for $35, and I give you an unlinked YouTube video to your email that you can watch over and over and over again, but it's private to you and anybody that you share the link to. And I also am doing the coaching sessions. Right now there's a consultation, and that's free. That's 30 minutes. And then I'm doing a 2-hour coaching session, and that's $50. And I am trying to keep it as low as I can so that I can support and help pretty much everyone that I can with the time allotted. And that's what the group eventually we'll be doing group coaching on Zoom. So everything that I make is funding the technology and the programs in order to have these group coaching and eventually more advocacy programs for people that are experiencing traumatic situations and events and having, you know, symptoms of PTSD. I do want to get out there and serve the community, and you know, a lot of good will come from the support. And I'll show you, if you're interested in doing the same thing, I'll show you some of the courses that I've taken and the certification programs that you can get into as well. And I am just grateful that you all showed up and that we're doing this together and you're interested in the things that I have to share. I hope that I can deliver. So thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a great day. If you have any questions and you're hashtag replaying it, feel free to drop those questions. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.